occurs.
And you cannot talk about that stuff anymore.
If you're a Patreon subscriber, you'll know all about it. This is the actual end of Soundcheck because
Yes,
we were
it is.
still wanting to make sure we hurry up and got
Oh,
on.
we have
in
one
time.
more story, don't
Well,
we?
yeah, we had Soundcheck go long, and I didn't want to leave our... Oh, my gosh. We're almost in double digits, y'all.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Love it.
Right when it starts, that's
Did the
pretty
old
intense.
TikTok
We're
work?
in double digits. So I didn't
well-
want to leave them waiting.
Even goddamn, sorry, Russ Benson did podcast.
Podcast.
Well, I did let them know this week that it was a podcast.
We heard.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Sam was like, podcast.
Podcast. Fucking cannot give that man any fucking critiques. He takes criticism so fucking well.
It's just such a nuanced thing. So, yes, I'm
So-
making fun of it.
Let's
So-
see. We covered on Soundcheck making teenagers bleed and hipsters, which you
Hipsters.
can find that at.
Patreon.com/dudefootball show.
very good.
What else do we have on the agenda?
This week in White Women,
Yeah.
we all know the trope of white women and animals. Well,
Oh, come here, sweetie. I've got
Well,
a
when
warm
she said
meal for
that
you.
the agenda item was Super Mel, that's why this didn't spring to mind.
Yeah.
Actually, now I know what you're gonna say.
Yes,
In this
yes.
episode of White Women, season. How old are you now? Season 29, episode 15.
yes. Early on Monday morning, last Monday morning. No, last Tuesday.
This was
Tuesday or Wednesday?
Wednesday. 'Cause
Wednesday
I
morning.
had a meeting I was postponing.
Last Wednesday morning, we got reports from some of our neighbors
Yep.
that there was potentially a rabid raccoon
Right in front of our house.
wandering the street right in front of our house.
Wait, time out.
Yes.
You said you were postponing a meeting. At what point was it that you decided to postpone the meeting? Was it after you got the text message of the rabid injured raccoon out
Oh
front?
well, no, I still had the meeting. I just had to wait. It's for a West Street event that I'm doing, and the woman lives like not far from here. And so I just texted her, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm dealing with a raccoon situation. I'm gonna have to. Can we like?"
Okay,
push?
so the raccoon was the initiation
Yeah.
for
Oh yeah,
the.
I was like,
this is big. Listen,
And we know
I was
that white
now-
woman's spidey senses went, oh.
now let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You know
I was
how,
about an hour and a half into the raccoon at this point.
how every sitcom like Boy Meets World and all those always had the episode where somebody started doing drugs.
Yep.
And it got very serious. And it was always an hour-long special. That's this episode of White Women.
On a special episode of Different Strokes.
Yeah. On a special episode of White Women in Business.
on a very special episode.
So
Go for it, Mel.
Megan texts me, and I
Of course,
go
it was a
out,
Megan
and
Megan,
And-
Karen, and Julie.
this
and Melissa.
this raccoon is. It's like it looks drunk. It is disoriented. It's having small seizures and tremors. It's lethargic.
Falling over.
Rabies is not what I think it is. I think it was distemper, which is also fatal and very bad because of how I've had a cat before with it, and it was presenting the same symptoms. Either way, I watched it for an hour. It was not injured. It was definitely sick. So I happen to have, because as I do, I collect random junk, animal traps
Say
that I
exhibit
had
A.
gotten, like, that was included in one of those auction lots, and I was going to, like, make an flower art project out of them. And
Right.
so I run to the side of the shed and grab the biggest one and figure out, like, how to work it. He grabs a chicken tender from inside. And then for the next...
Who doesn't like a chicken tender? Come on, man.
Chicken tender.
Everybody fucks with a chicken tender, man. Come on.
And so for the next 45 minutes, I'm just placing the cage like right in front of it, around it, not getting too close to it. You know, cars coming down, pointing them away. And this thing kept coming at me. Now, I don't know if it was the white woman in me. Lady, help me, please. Take me inside. I want to be your baby. The logic in me, it was like, I don't know. Even when like Megan was in the car and we were talking, it like was coming at us very slowly.
Hold on. You're not giving
What did I
that the
miss?
justification it deserved when Megan, the other white woman, pulled up, and then they're both.
So not only did they have
She
to
has the-
postpone the meeting, she then got involved in the animal
She
rescue.
has the window down. Mel's right next to her, and they're both just
They're
there,
both white women together. Yeah.
and I'm yelling from the driveway, "No, you can't fucking have it, ladies! You're not. No, you're not fucking saving it." Just
Now,
like,
I have already messaged all of my neighbors on the street, so everybody on the street is aware.
Can everyone help me name it, please?
What is great, like,
gonna be some white boy named like Steven.
no, like, well, 'cause at one point it was under Ethan's truck, and Ethan's like, yeah, I'm good inside.
Yeah, because he's a sensible man.
yeah.
Let me know when it's over.
The guy
Mel.
across the street that we had other problems with
Yeah.
politically a few years ago offered to bring a handgun out and shoot it because
No,
that's what
but
should have
his
happened.
wife was texting me from inside, encouraging material.
Yeah,
fuck's sake.
Amanda. I'm surprised Amanda didn't come out and go, "Oh, let's fucking name him Steven, and we'll share him amongst the three houses."
Could have gotten Kim involved. Would have been a whole thing.
Fucking white women.
So the construction guys across the street, they're now coming involved, and we've got it up against. And so
It sounds like the worst porno ever.
he tries to take his shovel and kind of
Direct it.
put it inside. And so now the thing is climbing up the shovel at the guy. He runs into the backyard, and he's now just gone.
Again, fucking sensible man. Yeah.
So
Also, by the way, you know who's not in this affair at all?
You.
Any black people. 'Cause
Yeah,
black
no.
people be like,
I'm
fuck
out.
that. Fuck that
Was the
entirely.
the construction worker Hispanic?
No, white dude.
Wait,
Oh,
dude.
okay.
Yeah, no, running.
No, the Hispanic guy would have used a shovel to cut his fucking head
Yeah.
off and be done with it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Because
So-
he's smart.
so
This
now,
thing is going to infect the world.
now
Right.
I'm just
We must kill it.
Finally, it sees the chicken tender from the side of the cage. I'm like, all right, now you know it's there. We can work with that. And then so I eventually got the cage like lined up with me on one side. So if it's going to come at me, it's going to come at me into the cage. Next thing you hear, snap, door goes shut. I yell super loud, I dropped the raccoon!
Fucking Davy Crockett over here.
Meanwhile, immediately, 3 neighbors texting me, hey, did I hear you just caught the raccoon?
So,
Just what the white woman needed. Validation.
yeah, so have you gotten your
Jesus
feline
Christ, the
AIDS
world's
test
coming to an
yet?
end.
I never got close enough. I was very careful. And
Used a shovel to push it back
oh, yeah,
to the
got
driveway.
it back
Never
and put it in our
picked up the
driveway. I put it in
raccoon.
a nice, safe spot. And then DNR Wildlife came, safely put the poor thing down, and then double bagged it and put it in our trash can.
Fuck, they did the euthanasia right here?
Yeah, in the street.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ, what is it, a horse?
From the videos, it wasn't in touch with anybody. It was
Did they put the
obviously
white tent
set.
up?
That would have been brilliant though if there were like children driving by.
Hey kids,
So
we're
it,
going to
like,
learn about death
white
today.
killed Steven.
And then you just
was.
stepped outside and went, I'm
It
Groot.
was so cute. Its little tiny outstretched hands, and it was like
It's
looking at
COVID
me
too.
going, "Help
Arms of an angel
me, lady.
far away.
You look so nice. Take me home."
You know we should do. Do you still have the video?
Yeah, I do.
We
Hey,
here's the Patreon video. We sepia-tone her video she took and put that song over it and just send that out. Happy Groundhog's Day.
Thank you, video boys.
Stephen Walsh, when you're talking about skin, goes, careful now, check skin. Fair enough. And then you go white name like Steven. The whitest guy we know.
That's
He's so white, he's Irish.
Oh, it's always you white women when you do your
my
fucking
God.
rescue thing. It'll
I
be
did.
like a grizzly bear named Dan.
You know,
Like,
Yeah.
fucking.
I was hoping maybe it's just injured. It's not limping. It's not injured. It's fine. It's sick. Oh, I
That's the neighborhood WhatsApp group. I just trapped Phil. Got him. What?
Bloody fucking brilliant.
so, yep, there you go.
All right, guys, we're going to take a real quick second. I'm going to go get ice. You guys can talk while I'm getting ice, and then we'll get the show started, okay?
Yup.
All right,
We
I'll
got
be right back.
a lot of people checking in the comments. Greg Sideburns is there. Up the Fulham, he's watching on X. Alan Brody, congrats to Mel for not murdering another animal. Well, I didn't do the murder, but I saved animals from, Mr. Cute Fuck. Which savage was better, Fred or Ben?
No, you.
That's from Garrett. I mean, obviously, Fred Savage.
Who is Ben Savage?
Fred Savage's brother that was on Boy Meets World.
We don't have Russ on.
I thought that was Fred Savage.
Here, I can do that. No, Fred Savage was on Wonder Years.
Fred Savage's
Savage
best
is-
role. Hey, Fred Savage's best role ever was what we had Geckel do in our video. In our video where he was eating the popcorn, it was for Always Sunny in Philly, and it was a little ad for it where they were telling Charlie Day it was his turn to blow DeVito, and he walks into the trailer, and Fred Savage is just sitting there with a pizza box, and he goes, "Fred Savage, what are you doing here?" He just looks right at him and goes, "I'm here to watch."
All right, so I guess Graham and I are now taking questions while Houston goes to the restroom. We have 11 of you watching, which is the highest numbers ever for our late night live stream.
Yeah.
Do you see Houston's TikTok got 2,000 views?
He told me.
Oh my God, he's so excited. He's so old. Bless his heart. Or to quote Lindsay, bless his little 50-year-old cotton socks.
Yeah, he's all excited about the old TikToks.
He really is.
I still haven't even downloaded the app.
You don't need to. Tegan's got it.
That's true. She does handle all my personal assistant
what?
does
Just
handle
let
all
her
of
do
my
it. She's
all of
good
my
at it.
TikToks.
Oh shit. Russ has got to be on here
We
somewhere.
have any other questions from anybody?
Taylor Thompson. We took care of your raccoon problem, ma'am. How can I ever repay you? Bound chickie bound bound chickie bound bound. Shame on you, Taylor. That's a really
That's
bad
what I'm
pull.
saying.
By the way,
As
it
soon
was
as
a
you
woman.
said there was three white women out
It
there.
was a woman that came over and took care of it.
As soon as you said there were, but then you said construction workers got involved. That's where I thought this thing was taking a turn.
It's the guys refurbishing the house across the street.
It was at that moment that I thought things were about to go south
No.
in a good way. Boom, 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 boom.
If this was injury time, I know what you would say, and so just know that I'm thinking it, even though you didn't say it.
Yep.
I think it's funny that we both got hard iced teas.
I know. So this actually, I didn't even buy this. The beer rep dropped off at one of my stores, actually. The beer rep dropped off extra of these.
There we go. Yep.
Dropped off extra of these, and it was just like tossed a freebie in a bag for me. Thank you, sir.
Facebook user Stephen Walsh, trivia host, wants to know okay, Walsh, are you asking this just to hear me like massacre this person's name? Because that's clever. Comahan Keller,
Quaven Kelleher,
best reserve goalie in the league.
easily, by far.
What did you say that word is?
Quaven.
Quaven.
That's how you say it in Irish.
Keevan. No, he's Stephen's
Or
telling me
Keevan?
something else.
Quaven. Okay, excuse. I said
As in
Quaven.
queef,
Excuse me.
Queefin.
I don't think it's Queefin. That's something different.
That is definitely something different.
That's what right there. That's what Stephen just wrote.
Queven, he wrote.
Queefin.
No. Look at the source. It's Irish. It's probably like Kyle. It's the way it's
No, it's
fucking pronounced.
it's spelled like Colilin,
Yeah,
but it's pronounced Queven.
yeah, but you know how that.
I
shit
thought it was
goes.
Quaven.
But
but-
you know how that shit goes.
I was a lot closer than Queefin. I'll tell you that,
All right. Guess what?
Wow.
because that's a front butt
That
fart.
is a 42-minute sound check because I
Okay.
forgot to stop recording.
Okay, cool. Well, then
Noise.
Let's do.
All right. Maybe.
Taylor will want to listen to this again anyway. Won't he?
Oh my goodness. There is something very funny for when we do injury time later.
It's the Irish for Kevin.
Yeah, of course it is. And I do remember what it was that I wanted to bring up from last week, but we can do it this week as well. Badoom. Got it right there.
But now he's doing his own sound effects. Mel, don't even need you to make buttons anymore.
I just got
Ba-doom.
replaced.
I mean,
Sam Houston, one man beatbox.
not everybody's able to do the
Pow.
do the beauty that is woe to fuck. All right, ready to do a show, kids?
Yep. Did you get? Did you get an email from Pat? I haven't checked
Yes,
since earlier.
there's an email.
There's another. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
you'll be
ready?
able to check your phone. There'll be an email.
On your mark.
Mm-hmm.
Get set.
Hi, this is Russ Benson. I am a Liverpool supporter, and you're listening to Drunkard United Football Show. You all need Jesus.
I don't know. I think that raccoon needed Jesus, to be quite
That
honest with
raccoon
you.
was already condemned to hell, I think.
Well, and
Apparently.
I gave it a chicken tender and a peanuts and its last rites.
you know,
I have a joke, but we're gonna need to start the show here in a second.
You know what? It's only the most white womanly thing to do. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smoke of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, my co-host, ruining her daughter's hopes and dreams to become a world-class keeper because, well, the other one needed her iPad. My co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. How you doing, sir?
Not bad, thank you.
You know, it's just I wait for the material. It comes to me.
That's
it's
fine.
It's always from the old noggin every single time whenever I introduce you.
That's fine. Yeah, she was faking in all those texts she sent. She said after you punched her in the face, she didn't want to play soccer anymore, period. So it was pretty much your fault anyway.
You know, I take full responsibility for that.
I took her knee out so you didn't have to feel that guilt, but
Well, you know, see, you got to go ahead and get them set. If you're going to do goalkeeping training, and that's a decision you decided to make, we need to let you know right away exactly what the fuck you're getting into. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcast. And, of course, streaming live every single Monday night. Should you want to chat with us, there are as many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
of course, it is at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email if you'd like to talk to this podcast.
Very good. Well, via instant message, and this will lead us into our next segment. Yeah, that's a bit I'm already getting annoyed with.
That's the point. So good, it's working.
Well, what I would hope is that you would do a video and remember to tell everybody the
I
whole
did that.
point. You just fucking just didn't do
How
it
could they
perfectly.
forget? How many views did mine get?
Not nearly as many as mine.
Oh, because you're
About a
just so
third.
cute.
Because I'm a fucking professional.
Okay.
I'm also a
You're
professional. I'm also, you know why mine got views? Because my producer gave me critiques, told me things I needed to be doing better. I did them better and got more views because I can take a fucking critique.
People like my funnies.
Yeah, they also like your grip of the English language.
People
as
like my
well.
funnies.
I mean, the views would suggest otherwise, but I'm willing for you two to compete.
All right. So, anyways,
Just
everybody,
take my shirt off. I get loads of views.
remember from our fantasy league.
I'm okay with that.
From our fantasy league, each person in each division, if they won the league, they got a free bottle from the top 25,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I'm sorry, from the top 20. And
This-
if it was one of us who won it, which was the case of Division 1, they still got us right because you won
For
the
the
league.
second time, yeah.
And Brody got the bottle. Well, our boy Jim got the bottle, and this was after we had done the whiskey show. So a lot of them were like quarter full bottles, right?
Yep.
So I ended up sending him 3, kind of
Just to
make
yeah.
up the place for it. And he just said, I don't have the palate you guys have, so I can't always tell you why I like some stuff. That said, the Blue Note, loved it. The Bruichladdich, loved it. The Craiglachie, dug it, not as much as the other two. He loves Laphroaig, Balvenie, and Aberlour. And for bourbons, he really loves Basil Hayden and Knob Creek for a reference. But he gave a report back on how he liked the whiskeys.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, the Blue Note was surprising for me. I thought that was a lot better than its price point suggested.
Yeah,
I was really happy with that one.
Deserved to be a top 10.
Yeah,
it was very good.
for sure.
I still have a bottle of that. So that's,
I thought that was
cool.
very good.
Yeah, I was quite impressed by that.
That's
Sam and
awesome.
myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we've got to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. We are into the top 10, Mr. Graham. In fact, good old number 9. Tell us what we're drinking tonight.
So we have the Bardstown Bourbon Company's collaborative series Foursquare Rum Finished. This comes in at 107 proof. It should run you right around $160. I think when I got it, it was about $180. So roughly around there. Panel rating was 94. And this is a blended American bourbon. And your blurb comes to you from Shane English of the Whiskey Advocates Tasting Panel. And it goes like this. This whiskey from Bardstown leaps out of the glass with cocoa nibs, chocolate croissant. Since, you know, if you listen to the sound check, you knew we were talking about French people earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So a chocolate croissant, cigar box, and banana split aromas. The blend of 7-year-old Indiana rye and 17-year-old Tennessee bourbon is finished in rum barrels for nearly 2 years, imparting flavors of syrupy fruits, fig jam, overripe bananas, and cherry cola. While the nose is assertive, the palate is more subdued, allowing delicate flavors of leather, cherry, cordial. Sorry, that's cherry cordial. I thought there was a comma there. There wasn't. And berry smoothie to shine. The finish is long and rich with chocolate malt, cinnamon candies, and toffee, fading to charred oak and maple syrup.
So, few things.
They're rated at a 94. I don't know if I said that or not.
And you said this was 160, but you got it for 180?
I think I saw it on the shelf for 180, but they're generally, these Whiskey Advocate stuff is based on like Total Wine chain pricing,
Right, what
not
their price would
independent
be.
market stuff.
So this
Well, I can do
whiskey
ya.
was on the list last year, but it was a plantation rum finish instead of a Foursquare rum finish. Anybody that is a rum head,
Careful.
that's what it was called then, and now
I
it
know.
is called a different brand.
It's a nugget for people that buy the Patreon.
I know. If you're a rum head, Foursquare is the holy grail.
Yeah.
People go
Big time. Nuts for this stuff.
fucking
Yeah.
nuts for Foursquare. And to be able to do a collab series with them, pretty big deal to pull off getting
Yes,
barrels from.
they don't just throw their barrels around to anybody.
No, they
Yeah,
do not.
it's a huge deal for that, and it's fucking delicious.
Oh, it's stellar. I mean, you and I have talked about this before. We get very annoyed when there's certain whiskeys that are just overpriced for the list. Like for us, it's like 150 feels to be the boundary where it should be. And this list in particular, particularly the top 10, has a lot that exceed that. It was a very pricey list for us to do this year.
Yeah, get that cacao up front.
It's fucking great. It's fucking great.
Actually, that berry smoothie, now that it has an ice cube to it, I kind of do almost get like a. Are they? I know a passion fruit, but it's like an actual fruit by itself,
Right.
like the name of a fruit. But when I think of passion fruits, I think of the old kind of smoothie bottles that had pictures of raspberries, blueberries, and strawberries on it. Are those still referred to as passion fruits, or are they passion berry now, or something like that?
Like passionberry.
So I kind of get a little bit of that almost raspberry, not tart, but just almost a little bit of raspberry. It's delicious
I definitely get
on the finish.
I get cherry cola on the nose big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Cherry cola, I'd agree with.
And
It has to be said, cherry cola specifically, because that does imply a little bit of sugar. When you do cherry, sometimes it'll either taste or smell tart, or also possibly medicinal. And this is definitely cherry cola. It's definitely that sweetness of the cherry. It's delicious, man.
Yeah, the ice, it really opens up more
Yeah,
on the ice.
huge.
also, just looking this over, let's keep one thing in mind. This is Bardstown Bourbon Company. This is not a bourbon, because the primary whiskey that comes from Indiana is 45% corn, 51% rye, and the rest malted barley. And then that's Indiana, that's MGP.
Right.
And then the other 10%, that's from Tennessee, that's Dickel. That's Dickel bourbon, because they sell their bourbon a lot.
Right.
Where Jack doesn't, because Jack does the whole mellowing for Tennessee whiskey kind of thing. And they don't offer a bourbon at all.
Yeah, so this is the Bardstown Bourbon Company, but this is not legally a bourbon.
Right, and it just says it's a whiskey. It's
Correct.
a blended whiskey on the label. It is delightful. It's very good. I have my own
so fucking
personal
good.
issues with the price point in comparisons to what the spirit of this list should be.
Yeah.
And we're going to say that a couple more times, because there's a couple of whiskeys that
That
we're
are
going to
very
come
expensive.
up on they're very expensive, and I guarantee you they're going to be fucking fantastic. Like, there's one that fortunately our boy Ken is giving us tasters of. Like, it sold out when it came out in August. There was no getting it. What's the fucking point of putting it on the list?
Right. What was 2 years ago was the old Fit 17. Mm-hmm. Or whatever. I was like, what the fuck, man?
It came out right as that list came out, and I had to pay ultra premium through a friend. Like, a friend wouldn't even give me fucking friend price. Like, I had to fucking pay real deal price on it.
Yeah.
So, because he knew what he had. Like,
Well, of course. Yeah.
he knew what he had. So, Mr. Graham, what do we always need to do?
Please remember to drink responsibly.
I guess, Producer Mel, do you want more? Because yours is gone.
Maybe. Let me see how the first half of the show goes. I may need it for the second half.
Well, it is me and him talking. I would say you
But I'm
probably
gonna
will need
stay
it.
right here on mic for your first segment.
Alrighty. We open with the battle for the final Champions League spot.
What?
One team didn't play, one fucks, and one is a fucking fraud. Aston Villa 4, Nottingham Forest 2, Fulham 2, Manchester United 1. Obviously, the one that didn't play was Tottenham, because Chelsea was in the League Cup final. Their match was supposed to be on Friday, and that, of course, got postponed.
Yes.
Is this the first time this season that Villa got first segment?
No, they got
they've gotten
first segment when they
segment before.
beat fucking City, and then
Oh,
they got
that's
first
right.
segment when they beat Arsenal.
I just wanted you to remind me of those two things.
Okay, very good. Yeah, but I also think you got first segment when you lost to Manchester United.
Oh, I don't think that's true.
Okay, very good. Watkins scores early, and here's something that's worth noting. 14 goals and 10 assists right now on the
Yeah.
season.
He's having a phenomenal
A
season.
phenomenal season. Only him and Mo Salah are double digits.
Yeah.
On both goals. and
On
assists.
both goals and assists. Yeah, because Bukayo Saka hit his 10th.
And then quickly after that, within the first 30 minutes, Douglas Luiz puts in a brace, and they're up fucking 3-0.
Yeah.
Back on that first goal, 211 seconds into the game, the fastest goal ever scored by Villa.
By Villa. Okay, very good, because I know there's been faster
No,
goals. But
by
for
Villa, 211 seconds. I just thought that was an interesting stat.
Yeah, very good. And then Louise gets 2, and it seems like they're on virtual cruise control until the very end of the first half. Sam, stop doing math in your head. It's just going to make your steam come out your
3
ears.
minutes and 31 seconds.
Don't worry your pretty little head there.
This is
stud.
like another white woman thing, actually. This is this is my 34-month-old. No, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You have a 2-year-old until 2 months from now or whatever. Fuck off.
Okay, very good.
I hate that shit.
Do you want to actually talk about the football?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Very good.
Back to Villa fucking.
So, which got the kid in the first place. Ultimately, Villa dominated all but about 12 minutes of this game. And it was like 6 minutes either side of halftime, and that was it.
Yeah, Forrest with the bookend goals.
Yeah, and they were both very good goals
Yeah.
as well. The pretty much every goal in this game was decent. In my
Agreed.
opinion, it was quite the spectacle, to be honest with you. And the pass for Morton Gibbs' White goal was phenomenal. The pass for Leon Bailey's goal was even better than that.
Yeah, it was.
It was fucking great.
Leon Bailey is having himself a season.
Yeah, he is as well. But breakout season, really. I think he's another one. I'm not as familiar with him as I am with like Michail Antonio, but I think Leon Bailey was also born in the UK, qualified for England, but has Jamaican parents.
Yeah, he plays for Jamaica.
And chose to, because he's never going to break into the England team.
Right.
Essentially, decided to go with the country of his parents' birth so he could play international football.
Yep.
Which is very cool. And some players have done that for Canada. Junior Hoylett, we think of, moved to England very young and actually qualified for England, I believe, through being a naturalized citizen, and then ended up going back to play for Canada, Canada instead.
Jamaicans love two things: Liverpool and Leon Bailey.
That's pretty good. But no, so what this kind of signaled here, Villa had their little blip, right? Kind of like Arsenal did in December. Villa had their little blip maybe a month ago. This was the first performance, start to finish, where they had their swagger back altogether, in my opinion. They didn't let the goals rattle them. They came back, it was 3-2, and Villa was like, yeah, okay, we still got this. Like, they didn't look shook at all.
Not one bit.
They kept a good pace. They kept control of themselves.
It was a very mature, very professional performance with some pretty slick football. I was actually quite impressed. And, what was it last week? Was it last week they won like 3-0 or 3-1 or something?
It was 2-1 over Fulham.
2-1 over Fulham. There were moments in that game where they looked a little shaky from time to time.
They also
and the
weren't
week
in their
before
building.
that, same sort of thing where they looked shaky, despite a good performance overall. This was full swag-tastic, like we are fucking Villa and we are fucking.
Yeah.
Like they were back to what we've grown accustomed to this season.
Yeah.
In full force, it seemed.
For me, it feels like they're back in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
You know, they really are. They are in control of their own destiny for that last Champions League
Ray,
spot.
Kenny, all you lot, what we're saying is Villa are back. Manchester United are not.
We're going to get to that in a second. And, of course, there
The
will
difference is
be...
Villa only took 3 weeks off.
There will be news we'll come into and also with obviously Everton's appeal. But before that, after this result, Forest are square in that relegation battle. And although they've had decent results and have looked good under Nuno, they got to start getting some W's, man.
But they're still, like I said, they're doing it in spurts. They're doing it. I haven't seen the West, I guess, was it West Ham they played last week, 1-2-0. That was their best performance in the last 3 months. Mm-hmm. And then they're back to a 12-minute snippet of good football.
Right.
It seemed, even with Awoniyi.
Right.
Like, that's not a great, thing. Hudson-Odoi and Elanga, I mean, everything was fine, really, in this game for them, fine being relative, up until the final ball when they had possession. Like, I thought they were relatively comfortable playing out of the back. I thought they were fairly organized. Villa are just that good. Mm-hmm. But when it came to that final pass or that shot, they only had 3 shots on target, and 2 of them obviously went in. Mm-hmm. So they didn't really challenge other than that. They didn't really create dangerous opportunities other than that.
Right.
So it's that where you have kind of come to expect from Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs-White, and Awoniyi when they're all playing together and in form and in tune, singing the same song. They've looked dangerous, even if they haven't gotten the goals. They've looked really dangerous. Right. In this game, they didn't really look dangerous either.
Right. That's
what I would be concerned with. Is it's almost a bit of a reductive performance from them, from a couple of snippets here and there over the last few weeks where they've looked quite good.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to the next one. Let it be said very simply, Fulham were hands down the better side in this match.
Oh yeah.
They were the better team, and they deserved that win. It felt almost like at one point United was smashing and grabbing for a draw. In their own fucking building, Sam.
Yeah.
The 44th minute is when Manchester United finally registered a shot on goal.
Yeah.
At Old Trafford.
Yeah.
That's fucking embarrassing.
That's bad.
And I've said this for multiple weeks now. Allow me to look right in the camera. And if there's United supporters out there, I don't care. United are a bunch of fucking frauds. That's it. Don't even think, they're in the hunt for. Fuck you. They're frauds. Please go ahead, Mr. Graham.
Please keep watching and listening. No,
They can hate watch.
yeah,
I fucking hate that bald fucker. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He supports 17. His team fucking sucks. Don't care. Your team's still fucking frauds. Go ahead.
yeah,
I'm
no,
going to save my next comment for injury time, but I'm writing it down right now.
Heard.
but they are. I mean, they turn in. They've actually been playing quite well the last few weeks, and then this. It's like, what are you doing?
It's not even well. They've
Well,
been
it's well
getting
for what
results.
they've been. It's
Right.
it's well.
It's what it was in October when they had that run of like fucking 8 games.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything ever impressive.
So
they just
this
found
for
a
me,
way to win.
This for me was a bit of a weird game. I mean, Fulham were in control for large stretches of the game, but I didn't think to myself that United were playing poorly
Right.
either. Necessarily. Again, there was a lot of this weekend also. That final ball, that final pass, that final effort was wayward. The football to get to that point was good enough to get to that point. So it had to be at minimum decent.
Right.
But it wasn't great. I did love that Iwobi got the winner. Looks like Arsene Wenger's done it again.
that was a phenomenal finish.
It was a great finish.
Great
And
composure.
that one touch took 2 people out of the game immediately. It was phenomenal.
He's massive. We were talking about where Fulham was before AFCON, and it was him and Jimenez were hooking up. They were starting to really create some things, and you were like, they're going to be all right. And then AFCON happened, and Fulham kind of fell off a cliff for a while. And I was
Right.
like, fuck, what the hell's going on with Fulham, right? They're still in that bottom half discussion currently, but you gotta feel like, and we've just said this already, their defense has been really fucking massive for them this season. But they're starting to find timely goals, and they're taking advantages of opportunities given to them, and that's what you gotta do.
And a huge plus here as well for them mentally and as a team and their togetherness. Paulinho didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
This was a organized, gritty, good performance without Paulinho, which has been the glue to their defensive
The bulk of the season, yeah.
defensive scheme, and pretty much being that first line of defense where a lot of things don't even make it into the box. But Calvin Bassey, do you know his story at all?
No, I don't. Please.
Born in Italy, grew up in Stretford in England, and so qualified, I think, to play for all 3 countries. Actually chose Nigeria, much like Iwobi did, who was
Okay.
born in England to Nigerian parents. And then I got to talking to somebody about this today, actually, and my phone was listening and served up because I was talking so much about Nigeria, served me up a compilation of JJ Okocha's skills that I got stuck in the back room of a store looking at for 12 minutes because I watched it through 3 times straight.
Pretty fucking brilliant.
Fuck yeah, it was awesome. Who happens to be Alex Iwobi's like uncle or godfather?
I think it's uncle.
Yeah, which is very interesting and awesome. But no, it was a fucking great performance from Fulham. It was very well done, and it just shows Manchester United are not back.
What I was about to say wasn't. We were all expecting this to finally happen to United, right?
Oh, yeah,
we
definitely.
were just waiting for the time for them to fuck it off, and
100%.
and now they've got City next, which means they'll win, which you'll be happy about.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever actually rooted for United to win a game.
Yeah, you're going to be rooting this
I don't
weekend
give a
for them
fuck.
to
Yeah,
win
go
this.
for
You're
it,
like,
boys.
Just please be
They're also
fucking-
not a threat to us. It's fine.
We turn our attention to the top of the table, but 2 of the matches honestly belong in it. Well, 3 of the matches actually honestly belong in OSO, so we're not going to fucking put it in this segment. We're actually going to go ahead and talk about the team that deserves to have their own segment. The fucking Gunners are on fire and continue to score goals. Arsenal 4, Newcastle 1. I mean,
That's 25 goals in 6 games.
you avenged the previous loss to Newcastle.
Yep.
And you now have the best goal differential in the league.
Yep.
Like, you could not have asked for better or like,
And
don't-
only Liverpool.
Don't give up the 1 goal. That would've
Liverpool
been the
have only
thing.
scored 1 more goal than us.
Yeah.
now. Also,
Yeah.
so in terms of goals for, we're second in the league by 1.
Yeah.
And we have the best goal differential. It is amazing. 26 goals in 6 games, and we were scoring goals for fun. And what I said, kind of comparing Villa earlier about getting their swagger back, when we went through that bit of a barren spell in December, right, and had our little blip, it's all about how you respond to things, right, and how you come back from that. So that little blip, we've obviously gotten our swagger back. You take another microcosm, and I know we're a Premier League based show, obviously, but all the fixtures come into this.
Right, of course.
For the first time in 2 fucking years on Wednesday against Porto in the Champions League in Porto, Arsenal failed to register a shot on target.
Wow.
In all competitions, for the first time in 2 years, they didn't register a shot on target. Porto did the West Ham thing, and then a bit more athletic, though, and did have a few more forays forward than West Ham would have.
Right.
When you watch them in December when they beat us. And so you kind of go in going, fuck, we don't need this going into the Newcastle game. We needed a confidence building
Right. Precisely.
win here where we don't particularly play well in Portugal or against Portuguese opposition on a regular basis. We really could have used something coming into this game from Wednesday's Champions League game. Turns out we didn't need it. What we needed was that to be extra frustrated for somebody we were already pissed off at. And then it just became a fucking mollywhopping because Newcastle could barely get out of their own goddamn half.
It should have been a lot more than 2 at the
It
end
was
of the half.
brilliant.
Yeah, should have been more than 2
I
at
was
the end of the half.
texting the other fantasy league I'm in. We have a group chat on Messenger, and I was like, guys, I said we got to stay on the throat here. This is, I want 2 more before I want to go into halftime 4-0 up. Like should be, they didn't exactly push the issue, and I started getting a little concerned, to be honest, because time and time you could be the shittest team on the face of the earth. Everybody's got a 12-minute stretch where they're on top in the game.
Yep.
And I was worried that Newcastle were going to take those chances, right? And it just so happened that chance didn't come till very late on, and it was Joe Willock that put it away. So all the Hale End boys are scoring in this game. Now, he did celebrate, which annoyed the piss out of me, but at the same token, he's entitled to do whatever he wanted, and they were already 4-0 down.
Right.
So go ahead and enjoy yourself, Tom.
Right.
No problem.
Goals shared again. That's the other thing, too,
Everybody scoring goals.
is when people are going...
You know what? We're so generous, we even shared them with the other team.
Yeah, no shit. Well, we were talking about at the January transfer. It was like, Arsenal need a striker. Arsenal need a striker. They got to get a striker. Got to get a striker. No, you don't need a striker. Everybody's fucking scoring.
At the moment, yeah, everybody's
fucking scoring.
Everybody's scoring. It was good. Martinelli looked like a man possessed, but he was doing that thing that we always say about trying too hard, right? He was, I think he had 6 shots on his own. I think 1 might have been on target.
Yeah,
and he lashed it 4 or 5 of them.
Right.
But he played very well. I thought overall was very positive in his play, and again, as you said, got the assist. He had Saka obviously scoring again, which was huge, and then Gabriel thought that he was becoming Arsenal's all-time defensive goal scorer in this game, but a fantastic save from Loris Karius, to be honest. The initial save was a very good header. Saved it well, but was only able to parry it in front of right on the line, essentially, and then a bit of kerfuffle, and obviously it bounced off of Sven Botman's knee after hitting some probably Fabian Schär, and then crossing the line, which he did claw out, but it was definitely well over the line. And then Emil Smith-Rowe hit the post. I mean, it could have been much worse.
Oh, gosh.
We could have done him for 6 again.
Oh, yeah. I think you could have.
I mean, it really was but it was a dominant performance. It was exactly what we needed. And I think we can go in now against Porto specifically. The last 4 times we've played them in a knockout European competition, the last 4 times we played them, we either drew or lost the first leg and then came back and won either 3-0, 4-0, or 5-0. So the hope is there that we overturn this at the Emirates in the second leg.
Right, of course.
Which from the last, again, 6 Premier League games, I don't see a reason why we couldn't.
So final question, but we're going to turn our attention now to Newcastle. We know they're starting to get healthy and things have turned the corner for them. Do we think there's enough gas in the tank and fortitude to still find a European spot? Because right now they're on the outside looking in.
I think they may have dug themselves too much of a hole because Tottenham are getting healthy. It got everybody back, and now we'll have a game or two underneath them. They also now have Timo Werner, who can serve more as a decoy than he can a goal scorer, but still, he can, he's provided a couple of assists. He can still, have goal involvements without scoring.
Right.
And it's something else for people to worry about. Villa obviously are playing how they're playing. Brighton, despite the kind of slip up, which obviously against you from their perspective, a slip up, which we'll come on to, especially being at home. I think they're good enough, but I also think they are focused on Europe as well currently, like trying to do what they're doing in the Europa League.
And West Ham came back strong today, so I mean that's
And they're still, they did enough in the early part of the season that they're still in and amongst the European places currently, I think.
And then let's not forget who is currently in 8th place. Fucking Wolves.
And don't forget about that. If the officials did what they were supposed to do, Wolves would be top of the fucking table.
Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Manchester City 1, Brentford 0, Manchester City 1, Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 4, Luton 1, Everton 1, Brighton 1, Palace 3, Burnley 0, Wolverhampton 1, Sheffield 0, West Ham 4, Brentford 2. The Bees were solid against City the entire time until Ayer pulled what I'd like to call a Stevie G. Might have had a little slip there.
A Freudian slip, some might say.
Yeah, yeah, I can't help but bring it up. It brings me joy.
Yeah. So really, all three of these games, the 2 City ones and the Liverpool 4, Luton 1, I wrote my notes specifically in essentially one paragraph.
That's fine.
Because they were all the exact same blueprint. And this can be said for both of these clubs. City, I only wrote the stats down from the 2 midweek games, but City had 25 shots with 11 on target. Liverpool had 29 shots with 13 on target, right? It's just the endless onslaught
Right.
of someone's goal. And despite being a bit off or you playing particularly well or out of your skin, in Luton's case in that first half, taking
Mark
the lead,
Flecken being Mark fucking Flecken.
to taking the fucking lead
Right.
at Anfield.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And they wouldn't be hugely bothered about how that first half went, Luton. And with Liverpool's injuries, right? And City, I mean, they haven't, 2 full starting 11s essentially within their squad.
Yeah, but this is also the first time in a long time that they put double digits of shots on goal because
Yeah.
they've been having a hard time.
Absolutely.
They're getting 20 shots a game. Problem
It's
is
not on target, yeah.
13 of them to 15 of them have been off target.
Right.
Every single week.
So, but it's just the never-ending onslaught. And it's an old cliche. We said it on this show time and time again. Eventually, the dam's going to break. I mean, this is why we say take shots from distance. Draw the team out, right? You have to put them on target or else they're not going to respect it. But if you take a few shots from distance, you draw that, I got to step to him. You create that pocket of space behind that City's good enough to exploit. And they did. They found Haaland in midweek. And on the weekend, it was Phil Foden that found that space. Liverpool, 4 players found that space.
Yeah. But it came late for Liverpool as well.
Exactly, and it came in a hurry. Kind of as they were helter-skelter after conceding the first one, bang. You get those couple extra. It's but it's just eventually that dam's going to break because you're not as good, you're not as fit, you're not as with it, you're not as organized. You're just not. They're two of the best clubs in the world for a reason.
Right. And they held serve, and now the game in hand's been played, right? So you're only a point behind City.
With a better goal differential.
And you just need
Scream it from the rooftops.
You need to do business against them when you play them. And they still have to play Liverpool, and they still got to play Manchester United.
Listen, we're going to do the business, but I won't be as drunk as JB as he texts me.
Very good.
And neither will my Arsenal. We're going to do the business there.
Now, I want to take a look at the other sides. We'll talk about Brentford at the end with the West Ham match. Luton, we'll talk about in just a moment because I want to tie that into the next game as well. But for Bournemouth, for a team that's been playing very, very well, they're suddenly right in it down at the bottom. They're not fully safe. They're only about 5 points out of being right in the race of relegation.
Yeah.
And granted, they have been playing the quote tough part of their schedule lately, but if they that can breed bad habits and it can breed bad thoughts in your brain.
But I don't
and you
think it has been.
Yeah.
So this happened to Brentford their first season up, right? They went through that where they dropped like a stone from, what was it, late October, early November through till about March. Remember, where they were not very good,
Right.
In terms of results. They had injury problems that, Luton without Adebayo for a couple of weeks now. What they have been doing is the performance levels haven't dipped. Like I said, they took the lead at Anfield. You can't really ask for more than that.
Right.
Right?
I'm talking more about Bournemouth right now. We'll talk about Luton in a moment.
Yeah, I wrote everything collectively here. Bournemouth has been on a great run of form and had a lot of chances in the City game. Ederson bailed them out a few times. What I'm saying is all of these clubs, Brentford included on Wednesday as well, did very, very good things for large stretches of all of those games. And they can all take positives. If they stepped out on the field and looked like Sheffield United and rolled over fucking belly up, tickle me daddy, I'd be concerned.
Right.
But they didn't.
Right.
They were just outclassed at the end of the day.
You just perked her attention. I think the name of the show is going to be "Roll Over, Tickle Me, Daddy." When Mel's head goes, huh, like groundhog looking around, just huh, what's up?
Just take the daddy off. I hate saying that. It makes me so uncomfortable.
I'm now picturing Christmas's favorite toy that Taylor or Christian will design.
It's gonna be a tickle me Elmo with my face on it, isn't it?
So for Luton, they now lose 2 in a row. They see Everton tie 2 in a row. That gets Everton now out of the relegation zone. That was already tough. And then they get handed the news today that Everton has 4 of the points given back to them on appeal and that they will only be docked 6 points, which then quickly moves Everton from 1 point from safety in 17th to now 5 points from safety in 15th.
5 points safe.
Right, in 15th.
Yeah. There is... We've both said it from the start. There's inherently a problem with this disciplinary process.
Oh, and absolutely. Should have been done. If you do it all in the summer.
In the off season, you get it done because everybody needs to be on an equal playing field, knowing what they're starting with and where they need to go.
Right.
This taking shit away midseason and then giving it back midseason, in my mind and in my eyes, there is precedent for it in Italy. That happened with Juventus as late as last season with them. But there's always something with Juventus in there.
Oh, there always is.
But
there's always something with Italy.
yeah.
As
Sorry,
we like to say,
that just tickled my fancy.
like
there.
as we always like to say with the Dutch
Tickle.
as
Podcast.
There's your sidekick. Tickle my fancy.
as we always like to say, the Dutch, a literal people. The Italians, they like a bet.
That's just shady people.
Oh, they love a good bet, man. They love a good bet.
Are you taking the piss out of Newcastle supporters with Tonali right now?
I'm taking the piss out of all because every match fixing, everything.
It's all, yeah,
Just,
100%
woo,
Italy.
I love some betting.
But, it for me damages the integrity of the competition having these decisions come down midseason.
Yeah.
People are playing their schedule a certain way. They may rest certain players. We don't have a chance here. Let's rest Carlton Morris or whatever. I don't know that they did. I'm just saying that I do know that they did. He played in the game. But my point is that they may say like, all right, we're people have done that. They've gone. We don't have a chance to beat City. Fuck it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let's rest our best player.
Just don't lose by a lot.
And have him on the weekend. Right. When we have Fulham, who we think we can have a go at or whatever. So having these points taken away, given back, and not knowing where anybody stands and what do we do, that could affect people's decision-making in the teams they select. I think that's fucked up. Now, it's not Everton's fault.
I know.
It's not anybody's fault. It's the league's fault, and that's what I have a problem with.
What I was about to say is you don't think for a second that that Palace Everton game isn't played completely differently. If Everton had already had the points back or not taken away, that game got played cagey for a reason.
Yep.
Neither team wanted to lose.
Yep.
Everton could not afford to lose. If Everton had already had those points, or those points had been taken away at the start of the season, they already knew where they were, probably would have taken the game to fucking Palace a little bit more in their own building. Palace being the wounded animal that they are right now, missing a lot of fucking key players.
Were, sir.
Yeah.
Were, okay? Because they had a training game this weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It was a training game against Burnley, okay?
That counted
settle
for
down.
real points.
Yeah, settle down.
It was a behind closed doors friendly that counted for real points.
So I think we look at the hard part now is there's a lot of speculation, so I'm not going to get too much into it. Apparently, with the points being awarded back in the document that is written, there is a chance that Everton may not now face a second charge. That essentially the appeal is saying,
Asked and answered.
how can you give him another one if it's over a 3-year period?
For the
How can you
same
give
thing.
him 2 in 3 years? Right?
Well,
it's the
but
same,
if you didn't violate it in the second year again,
right.
you violated it in
And-
the first year.
But they're also saying that the dollar numbers weren't right by the independent board in the first place, which would put them under
Mashiri
the 15.
really can't fill the form out, can he?
Right.
You fucking knob. You
He-
left
he-
a zero off, Mashiri.
Mashiri's counting 10 fingers, 10 toes, baby. That's how he's doing his math. Got an abacus going and everything.
699,000. 699,999.
Precisely.
Shit, where was I?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta start over.
So there's also that in play as well. The other thought process, too, is that because the points of 6 is based off of being under 20 million, well, if that's the case, is Forest going to be deducted 12 points because it was 40 million, or will it just be 6 points for the one violation? Will Everton also receive another 6, or will they even be, because there's an actual date set for a hearing for Forest. There is no date set for a hearing yet for Everton. So where all of, who fucking knows?
Well, what I don't like, so they're looking back at a 3-year period. It was that middle year is what this violation was for, right? So now we move forward a year. So now this would be the first year instead of the middle year of a 3-year stretch.
Right.
How can you charge somebody again for the crime they've already been convicted of?
Right.
They didn't add to that issue, and you agree they didn't add to that issue, Premier League. So how are you trying them again? Because you can't go back into the past and change the numbers.
Right.
So how are you trying them again? If they didn't fall foul of it in now the new middle year and the third year, which would have been last year,
Right.
if they didn't fall foul of it, how can you charge them again for what is now the first year, which you've already charged them
Which
for?
is what the
It's
appeals,
fucking ridiculous.
Which is what the appeals
Right.
has
It's a
written in it.
fucking
So-
the whole thing's written poorly. It's a stupid thing to do in the first place. It should never be handled during the season.
Right.
And decisions should be fucking final, in my opinion.
yeah. Yeah.
Fuck the appeals process in this case.
Right.
You know what? Then set a standard. Then set a scale. If you break it by 20 million, 6 points. You
Right.
break it by 40 million, 8 points. You break it by 60 million, 10 points. You break it 115 fucking times, you're forced to sell the club, and we absolve you of all your titles in the last 7 years.
And you move down to League 2 and you
Fuck
get to
you.
start over.
Yeah. Go fuck
Yeah.
yourself. Like, come up with a punishment. Come up with an actual punishment scale. Because what if you're 39 million fucked and Forrest are 40 million fucked and a penny?
Right. Right.
That's worth 2 more points?
That's precisely. Is that worth 2 more points?
It doesn't make a ton of sense the way it is. They can just literally willy-nilly do what the fuck they want. And that makes
So-
absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. And doing it during the season just fucks the competition.
So this is much like how we have been with VAR. We're going to try to not talk about it now because it's until we find out what happens with Forest. We will talk about it some, but let's live in the reality that this is now what the table is.
The other issue is
Yeah.
we should have been talking about this a month ago
Yes. Yes.
when the hearing was completed.
Remember when we did the show last Monday, they said 24 to 48 hours. We
Found
got
out
it
today.
the next week. We found out 7 days later. Like,
I mean, are me and you on this commission and we didn't know to file the paperwork?
It's
Like, they're
admin,
terrible.
not
They're
our
just
strong
that bad
suit.
at admin? Is this us there?
Mel, you have some thoughts from the peanut gallery?
Yes, I do. If you are listening to this podcast right now, you really are missing out on pure comedy gold from our closed group called Drunkard United FC, which you can find because it didn't
On the
take
Facebooks.
more than 20 minutes for that to pop up.
For a tickle me, Sammy.
Get fucked.
Let me see. And it's tickling his tum tum.
So, Taylor, I'm glad you are watching tonight and having fun. Gold, Jerry.
Gold. Anything else from the group?
Nope.
Okay, very good. So, Graham, all that being said, let's go to the game itself.
I can't believe I said that. I knew it was going to happen. I can't believe I said that out loud.
This was all Brighton. Honestly, this match was 100% Brighton, but Everton wasn't giving them very good opportunities. And then Jared fucking Branthwaite with a motherfucking crack.
Yeah.
What a hit.
So, last year it was Anthony Gordon and Decore. Or was that the year before?
No, it was last year. It was Decore with 2 and McNeil, Dwight McNeil with 2.
So it was 2 years ago that it was Decore and Anthony Gordon that saved Everton. Yeah. And so last year, as you just said, was Decore and McNeil. This season seems to be, in true Sean Dyche fashion, a center back that's going to single-handedly save your season. Jared Branthwaite is popping up with some fucking goals, man.
Yes.
That you will desperately need. And I'm sure Sean Dyche had the most raging boner ever because from you all, it was the perfect display of shithousery, frustration, and just everything that would be contained in a little blue pill for Sean Dyche for him to take and then walk outside in the snow with no shirt on.
There we go.
It was excellent. But I can't believe that Branthwaite's coming up with the goals that he's coming up with at his age, his position, obviously.
Yep.
For him to be doing that is crazy. I still cannot believe that you all could see to that fucking goal though.
Dunk was too open. How do you let him be that open? But also that being said, that was like their 11th corner. And at the end of the first half, they got 3 straight clean headers on corners. You had to have a feeling at some point they were going to
happen. Yeah,
they were going to connect.
But
on
so
one.
I lost 2 legs of my parlay last week from the betting segment. Manchester United were the other one, but this game happened before the Manchester United game did, so it's absolutely your fucking fault that I died in my bet because I had you all
losing, I think.
I think I had y'all losing, yeah. But you fucked me again.
That's the least I could do. You're welcome.
It was by the palest man in the league besides Will Hughes.
You're welcome, sweet
well.
cheeks. Speaking of Will Hughes' team,
that's called a segue, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah,
Take notes. okay?
professional. Red card in the first half ultimately changed this match, but I'd also like to say at that point also, guess what Burnley hadn't done yet in that game?
Take a shot.
Yeah, not even a shot. Not a shot on goal.
A shot.
A shot.
And the red card
It
happened.
wasn't until the second half that they finally had a shot.
I wrote it down. It happened in the 35th minute, the red card. So there was 35 minutes of even playing field.
And they didn't
Didn't
have
even take a shot.
a shot.
Yep. It's pitiful, man.
It was honestly a better team with more pieces. Like, let's say if Eze and Elise were on the pitch,
They'd have won 5-0.
this game would have been 3-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
It would have been over.
So Palace really needed this result, obviously.
Oh, they desperately needed this.
I'm not sure with this you can call it a new manager bump because Burnley are so bad.
Agreed.
But, and we said it on the phone definitely over the last week. I'm not sure we said it on last week's podcast or not, but I really believe the only reason we're not talking about Burnley is because Sheffield United have been so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Burnley are piss fucking poor, man.
Well, and also let's face it, Burnley isn't going to give us the absolute gold that Sheffield gave us pulling a Newcastle in their game.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, come on. They're not just losing. They're losing in fabulous fashion to the point now that the manager's like, yeah, my team sucks. Like, that's what he's doing now.
And two, we'll come on to it.
Yeah, of course.
Because you also almost had...
you see, Burnley has been that boring this season that I'm now starting to just already talk about the team that's worse than them.
Yeah,
because they're
right.
at least entertaining.
There's just nothing happening. I don't get it. I don't understand. But Palace really needed this game. You had all the right people scoring again. You know, I talked about this a few weeks ago when Villa were starting to pull themselves out of their rut, where you had Watkins and Bailey and John McGinn, and then Douglas Luiz was the next week. And even though they weren't winning the games, the right people were getting the goals and keeping their confidence up.
Yep.
And you're seeing that pay dividends now, right?
Yep.
Same thing, you know, with a few other teams, actually, and some of their poor results. Key players played very well in those games. And
particularly the Chris Richards goal, based off of a set piece. Palace, they hadn't scored a single goal off a corner this season, and
they were the only team in the division. Even Sheffield United had done that.
Right. So for them to do that's a step. That's
absolutely.
progress, right? So yeah, absolutely the case. There's at least that going for them, right?
We in agreement. Josh Brownhill's red card was a red card.
Oh God,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, also, I mean, to step
this
back.
Is very similar to the red card against Brighton.
I was going to step back to that. Yeah, I mean, it was for Billy Gilmore. There was
essentially last man.
Right.
Didn't play the ball, brought them down.
He pulled him down. It's a red card. But in the case of Gilmore, there was no maliciousness in that tackle at all. But the problem is it was spikes up and it went down from about the middle part of his calf all the way down to his ankle. And Onana hit the ground hard. It was an ankle-breaking tackle, and it's not that Gilmore intentionally did it, but
it's Scottish. There's always a question,
but it's not even debatable. Like VAR didn't even take a set. They were just like, "Yep, decision on the fields, right? That's a red."
Yeah.
It wasn't even. Maybe you should take a look at the screen. It was just no, nothing to see here.
Well,
That's
like what we
definitely a
say
red.
last week that was so funny about Sheffield United about Mason Holgate was that the players were still fighting, and the referee just ran to the screen.
Yep.
VAR was like, "You gotta go see this. You fucked up.
It's definitely a red."
It's a red card. The other question, real quick, if we're going to talk about the raking, let's go back to Manchester United Fulham real quick. Should Harry Maguire have still been on the pitch? Some have suggested that was a clear kind of rake down the leg and could have been a red.
I do tend to think that should have been a red.
Yeah.
I do too. Now,
I think it would have been funnier for Manchester United if it was, not for Manchester United, for us, if it was a red. And I usually base my opinions on that, so should have been a red.
So a final thought with Burnley here. Brett, I love him. He's fucking fantastic. He's a great dude, and I love having him listening to the show and promoting the show. Brother, your boys have got to start doing something, or we're just not going to have anything to fucking talk about with them.
Well, here's like
it's going to reach a point where, like we've done before with like Sheffield the last time they went down, where we just like
don't care.
We just don't even care to even talk about like.
Hey, the other team won the game. Yeah,
you know.
So here's, not that I'm blaming him necessarily, but after Dyche leaving, you got one, kind of bastard out of town. And then he went over on a bit of a pseudo mission earlier this year. Obviously brought Jesus to the people of Burnley. I think they might be too nice now.
Okay. Yeah. Brett, you fucked your team. Yeah, that's
famously didn't fuck his team.
Yeah,
actually,
that's
chastitied his team when they need to be fucked.
Yeah. So we'll blame you now. That's actually, Brett. Until the team does something interesting, we're just going to come up with new interesting facts and blame you for their demise this season. So know that it's all in love.
Bring sin back to Burnley is all I'm saying. Make Burnley sinny again.
Wolves, meh, but they won. Meh.
Yeah,
but they won. They won, and and sometimes it's all you need to do. Because don't look now; they're in fucking 8th place.
So
they're in 8th fucking place, and they deserve to be in the top half of the table too.
Sheffield United did look a bit more lively in this game,
very much so. Couldn't finish,
and Wolves dealt with it well because, and this is kind of the mark of an organized, good team. You wouldn't have expected Sheffield United to do that based on their last season,
Yeah.
essentially.
Brewster had a fantastic game for Sheffield. The only problem was he didn't put the ball in the
I
back of the
can't
net.
remember the kid's name. It wasn't Rian Brewster. It was the shorter winger that had a phenomenal turn and shot, kind of half volley on the right side that Jose Sa had to save. It was absolutely brilliant, that turn and shot. But what I mean is, it's very easy. This is the type of game that, especially Wolves in decent form as well, in decent nick right now, that would look at this on the calendar and go, boys, we got a training game this weekend. Easy, no problem. And overlook a side that was spirited that they didn't expect to be spirited. So credit to Sheffield United to doing that. But
I think it was McAtee who had that shot, and he also had the fast break as well.
But bigger credit to Wolves for dealing with an unexpectedly lively Sheffield United.
Yeah.
So like I said, very pre-match, very easy to look past this game and go, fucking, this is 3 points in the bag, no issue. And then they come out and smack you a bit. But Wolves stayed organized. They went, oh shit, they're actually here to play today. And they fucking stepped their game up, in my opinion.
So we had a first in the VAR era
Okay.
because two Sheffield players decided to do their best Newcastle. And they actually got head-to-head. Mel, two Sheffield players head-to-head almost did the head push thing to one another. VAR had to check it for violent conduct.
Well,
The
one of
first
them
time
took a
VAR
fucking
had to-
swing.
VAR had to look at two teammates for violent conduct.
One of them took a swing at the other one.
After they went head to head.
Yeah.
Just fucking, I'm like,
It's amazing.
stop taking all of Newcastle's bits, man. That's their thing, man, to get people sent off for fighting
Each other. Yeah. I thought it was quite good. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess it shows a bit of passion. It shows that they care, which we haven't really accused them of caring in the last 3 months. So maybe that's a good sign. They were mad at each other for something.
And Wilder follows up with just going, I mean, yeah, great. There was some effort today, but like,
Still, we're fucked.
these boys need to worry about, where are they going to be next season? Because you got some of these guys out here who think they're probably staying in the Prem, and they're not. Like, he flat out, he grabbed all those players by the back of their jersey and the back of their shorts, saw that bus driving right by and went, there you go, boys.
Well, so that's actually that happened to a worse extent in Scotland, and I can't remember the name of the team, to be honest with you, and which is a shame. I don't know if it's Motherwell. It's somebody of decent quality in Scotland traditionally that this season is absolute dog shit, and it might not even be in the Scottish Premiership, to be honest with you. But
Livingston, I think, is in dead last right now. So
but
it could be them.
yeah, it could be, but the coach there had just come from a League Two side in England, and the last 4 press conferences basically have just been completely scathing of the club, the players, to the point where it's like, I just come from a League Two side, and it's fucking miles better than
Wow.
this. Like miles better than this. I mean, some of these boys don't even deserve to have part-time jobs outside of football.
Wow.
Their work ethic is so bad. It's just like, what the
Jesus.
fuck?
That's hysterical.
So Chris Wilder hasn't done that yet,
Right,
but he did definitely throw those players under the bus a bit.
it's only a matter of time at the rate that they're going. Because remember, they are, as of right now, unless something changes, they are statistically the worst defensive team in the history of the Premier League. And there's still 12 games left.
Oh yeah,
There's still fucking 12
It's
games
bad.
left. In the most anti-Moyes football ever, Jared Bowen scores a hat trick, and they
first
put
hat
up,
trick ever. by
yeah,
the way.
and they put up fucking 4 on Brentford.
Yeah, Smokey must be losing his fucking mind.
Oh, he was still they did that in spite of Moyes. Moyes still needs to go. Fuck Moyes.
Well, you know what I want to know. It seems to be the entire linchpin is Mohamed Kudus.
yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Nope, that's not who I meant either. I meant Lucas Paquetá.
Yeah, but
because
he's-
Paquetá hasn't played in 3 weeks. Kudus was obviously out with the African Cup of Nations earlier in the month,
but back now.
but back now as well. And all of a sudden, West Ham are clicking again. I don't think Moyes trusts Pablo Fornals and some of the other guys anymore, really. And with these two guys back in, I don't think you can help but be kind of attacking. Now, it also helps in my mind. And Sam, I know you've seen this movie. Mel, you've seen this movie too. Did you see Jared Bowen's second and third goal?
I only heard him. I was in the car.
Mel, did you watch the highlights or no?
Nope.
Okay, so think about a basketball court,
Okay.
right? So you've got your basketball court there. Okay? Mm-hmm. You remember the 2-3 zone defense? Like so?
Yeah.
Do you remember this? 3 along the baseline, your forward, your center in the middle, and then your 2 guards up top.
I'm with you.
Famously.
You have a camera right there.
Oh, yeah. Fair. Both times, this is how Brentford were lined up defensively. Now, on the run, which implies some bit of organization, right? But I like to call this Death Star zone marking.
Right.
Because right there in the middle, which will be denoted on my diagram by a giant circle, is that sweet spot that Luke Skywalker shot a rocket down
Shot
to blow up the whole
proton
fucking
down.
thing.
Yeah. And that is what
And
Jared
that's
did.
exactly where Jared Bowen was for 2 of those 3 goals. And they were quite easy, to be honest.
Big shout out to our boy Scotty and some of the Baltimore Hammers were over in
England, yeah.
In England. So I've got a picture of them all nice and proper hammered outside the pub tonight.
The Ironside pub on it. West Ham specific pub over there.
Carpenter's Arms.
Oh, the
is-
Carpenter's Arms,
Yep,
okay.
that's the pub there in front of. And also a little bit of a preview for the EFL show. Scotty went to the Charlton Pompey match and gave us a full match report that you will be reading.
Yes, I'll be reading it here shortly.
Pretty fantastic.
Not a bad little email.
So here's the key thing to kind of mention with Brentford is they've got Ivan Toney. They're probably going to find goals. They should be okay. But again, you put in this points back. Now Everton's in front of Brentford. And here's the thing that I've noticed. Unless Flecken is standing on his head, Brentford's starting to give up a lot of fucking goals, man. A lot of fucking goals.
And if you give up that many to a team like West Ham, it denotes problems.
Yeah. The defense is not functioning very well right now. And their answer...
But Mopé's getting goals, which is a positive thing. Wisa's back on the score sheet for the first time since coming back from the African Cup of Nations. You have Tony back, obviously, who's been on the score sheet a few times since coming back from his ban. So you would reckon that everything's probably going to be okay.
But they're also playing that game like they decided to keep pushing the narrative against a team like West Ham. They love you to do that shit.
Oh, yeah,
They'll
because they
counter you
want to
death.
counterattack the fuck out of you.
You still got to go to Everton. Everton will counter the fuck out of you. You still got to play Luton. Luton will counter the fuck out of you. You lose 2 or 3 of those, and suddenly you're only a point out.
Right, you're in trouble.
And you're suddenly in it, and your goal differential isn't good as well. That does
Correct.
not help at all. So,
But I thought they were also uncharacteristically sloppy in midfield. I mean, there was a couple of giveaways very cheaply to West Ham players that initiated a couple of those counters.
well, the only thing I'm looking forward to is now that West Ham's actually scored some goals and Everton has some points back, and everything's going to be like kind of life again. I mean, it'll still be the most boring match of the weekend next weekend between Everton and West Ham, but it won't be as bad as we thought it was going to be.
You're absolutely right. But what if Emerson strikes what he decided to do again?
Well, I don't
Because
think
that was the goal of the weekend.
well, that's
What a fucking hit that was.
well, that's because, like you said, what happened is people do the bit where they're like, "Oh, we dare you." Well, you dared him, and he went, "Oh yeah, fuck you."
Yeah, but if Ariola couldn't get to it, what's old short arm's going to do?
Oh, well, short arm's going to have some trouble. You know what he's going to do? He's going to flap.
He's
in
going
the
to
air.
flap at that.
He's going to flap in the air.
It's going to look even funnier than this one did.
Sure money.
The irony of the
fucking
joke.
laughing at me.
The irony of the joke is starting to wear on my skin a bit.
Taylor wants to know, which I think could be a betting opportunity, how long until a Blade supporter takes a swing at a horse?
Not long, but If you want to hear something funny about a Sunderland fan, stay tuned for my closing remarks.
And real fast, also, Mel brings up your Tickle Me Sammy thing, but she doesn't.
I didn't say that.
But she didn't bring I know, but the Tickle Me Elmo is what I'm going with. She doesn't bring up the thing that he did with her and a raccoon in separate cars driving away from each other saying goodbye.
Sobbing? Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely she definitely did mention that one. Yeah. This week in white women. So go ahead, Graham. Tell us all about it, because I can tell you what I did, which was win.
I lost again because of Everton. I am down a whopping 1,247. Actually, it's not whopping because it's the medium losses here.
Not good gambling.
Pat is well worse off than I am still.
Yeah, but he's won 2 in a row.
That's fine. I'm not worried about that. 1247 again, I'm down. So you're welcome. I took one for the team to make you get a point.
Thanks.
By the way. But Everton got me again. This season, I feel like I'm trying to tread through a pool of toffee. Is what my
Very good. Beat a couple losers.
couple losers says.
Excellent. I'll put the couple losers back over here because I don't have to put anything in the couple losers.
So let's go ahead and hear what you have to say.
All right. That's 3 in a row for me. I am down now only $46.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
Did you know that 25.925926% of the time, Mr. Graham, it always works 100% better of the time than your bet. Continuing the bet, doing another 2-game parlay of favorites. Give me Liverpool to win at Forest and Tottenham to beat Palace at home. That plays plus 128. Get me back in the black. I'm just get back to the black, nice and easy. Nothing too crazy.
In next week's episode of White Woman, get me back into the black.
That's called a Piper Perry.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
That's funnier than it should have been.
I need another one of these for the next show.
You know, the worst part is Pat's email is titled "Going to Go Back to Back." I read black to black. Anyway, hey guys and gal, I hit on my 1-game pick last week, so I'm only down $1,570. And this week I'm going to try to push my luck and make it a 2-game parlay: Villa over Luton and Bournemouth over Burnley on a $100 bet. It pays off at $250. You all have a great week working. I'll be thinking about you when I'm hitting bombs, putting for birdies, and cracking beers at 10 a.m. It's golf trip week.
Oh, that's always fun for him on golf trip week.
I know. Which usually means that we'll get a phone call of very drunk Pat next Monday.
Yeah. And for those of you who are new, Pat's a very good friend of ours who normally calls into the show, but, since Graham decided to reproduce again, we weren't able to do all those things. So.
Multiples, because I get laid. Or used to before this kid came.
I was going to say, you don't anymore there, stud. Hey, next time you get the opportunity, let's try to last more than 30 seconds and, pull out. Okay?
It's kind of hard when it's only 30 seconds.
Y'all, this is not injury time.
Hey, it's men's matters. It's men's health. It's men's hygiene.
Yeah, get it out of your system now because next month's Women's History Month, okay?
These pipes are clean.
I like that.
Hey,
Nice.
Sam, when do you get your pap smear?
Thank you, stud. All right, so what do you got for your bet there, Mr. Graham?
All right, so for my bet this week, here we go again, okay? Mm-hmm. You're a brave boy. Trust the process and all that.
9-way parlay.
I got Brighton over Fulham away from home, Liverpool over Forest away from home, Tottenham over Palace at home, and then Arsenal to win away at Sheffield United, and there to be over 3.5 goals in that game. Continuing Arsenal's fine goal-scoring form. That is plus 998.
Not good gambling.
On a $100 parlay. So I'm hoping to take about 75% of my loss away in this one swoop.
So do we want to do that now or do we want to have the chicken do her thing?
Do the chicken.
Okay, well then you heard the man. Do the chicken.
Well, Kitty's faith in Man U to not fuck things off fucked Kitty. And so she sits at 14 and 11. So this week, I gave Kitty the cherries traveling to the Clarets. Now, Kitty showed me some behind-the-scenes footage on the set of I Am Legend.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was the second one, the sequel.
There's going to be another I Am Legend, apparently.
I didn't know this, but apparently Kitty is producing the sequel, and Michael B. Jordan is starring in it.
There you go. Well, because I'm sure first thing you wondered is, I Am Legend, didn't the guy die? Well, apparently Michael B. Jordan is going to be the next I Am Legend.
Well, of course, you all knew this, but Michael B. Jordan is part owner of Bournemouth, and that coupled with the fondness of the actor's work, I'd say Kitty is picking the cherries to win.
She's always said she really loved how
By
he
the
did
way,
Warmonger.
Houston,
Yeah.
I like how you're testing me to make sure I don't pre-read this and handed me just before the mic went on, and how fucking good that cold read is.
Shit, got by me. I needed to save that.
Yeah, missed the goal, but you know what you shouldn't miss? This morning on Gambling Legally and Responsibly.
I got that. All right. Well, Mr. Graham, what do you got going on over there?
Well, before that,
given
this display that just happened, ACL or not, you're fired from training Tegan.
Yeah. I would like to go to the one ball you tried to save where you went.
He watched me ball it up. He knew what was coming. Like I indicated, I pointed to my spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't get them all.
So there are a couple
Like a
of
goldfish.
things.
Got to forget. Never
Granted, I
happened.
was aiming to hit you.
Couple of things to celebrate. This fine closing remarks and one dickhead to call out. So I'm going to get the dickhead out of the way first.
Go for it.
Because it actually is quite funny as well. You know how sometimes white people get a little racist when they get mad, like unreasonably racist, where it doesn't really make any sense still, right? It doesn't make sense anyway. It's not what I'm saying, but at least they're grasping at fucking straws.
Right. Nonsensical.
There was a Sunderland supporter. Somebody took I think it was a brief video of a Sunderland supporter while the game is still happening, typing on his phone. And it was basically a diatribe about getting this French bastard owner out of our club because in 1066, the French started being our enemies and they haven't stopped since they invaded our island. Like, that's how far back it went.
Wow.
What's that? A stick crepe in your ear, Funchy?
Yeah. Hey there, Frenchie. What's wrong with you? Perhaps you have crepe stuck in here. Yeah, it's an old South Park bit.
It was just absolutely ridiculous. And I thought it was very funny, but obviously there's a bit of, with Brexit and xenophobia and everything happening.
All of that.
In all of that, it's a bit sad as well. But when somebody goes on in just an incoherent racist rant, I think it is quite funny sometimes, and this is one of those times.
And real short but sweet, Sheffield supporters, Mason Holgate being black has nothing to do with the fact that he tackled somebody.
Oh, was there?
Fucking stop it.
I didn't even see that.
There was
there
a
some
bunch
of that?
of that last week, apparently. Yeah.
I'm so over that.
Just fucking stop it.
I'm so over that.
He's a shit player who plays too aggressive. That's why he got a red card. He does that a lot. Has nothing to do with the guy's fucking skin color.
No, absolutely not. But that being said, if you need to know how to deal with injured or sick wildlife in your area, speak to a local black man. They'll tell you to just run the fucking other way.
Right. Don't speak to a white woman. They'll tell you to pick it up and nurse it back to health.
There's a guy I follow on TikTok.
I know. I love that dude.
I love it.
Yeah.
Every
I
time.
would happily let him bite my face off.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time a white woman, come here, sweetie. I've got some muffins in the oven for you. Would you like a marshmallow?
I'm going to put a sweater on you and your name's going to be Mike.
No, I'm talking about the guy that's deadpan.
Yeah.
That loves animals.
Oh, okay.
That
No.
speaks different guy.
No, there's a black guy that all he does is play video clips of white women. And he goes, I'll never run out of this stuff. And it's always, the white woman befriending the bear, the white woman with the moose, the white woman with the skunk, the white woman with a tiger, and always, what we do.
So the one guy I'm thinking of is opposite of that.
Oh.
He tells you animal facts, and he's very deadpan, and he wears corded iPhone headphones,
Yeah.
and speaks into his mic like this, like
Very
onto
good.
on the cord.
Excellent.
And he goes, and look at this thing. It'll, like a baby hippo. And he was like, look how cute it is. I would love to hug this baby hippo and cuddle this baby hippo, and I'm going to, even though it'll probably bite my face off.
Yep.
No.
And like he says shit like that.
Gotcha.
I'll find a clip for you at injury time, but it's the funniest shit. And
All
he's
right.
like constantly, I'll never run out of
We
stuff.
need to get to this last thing and get on to our next shows.
Anyway, so we got 3 things we're celebrating. Okay, No Malort Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. We all got results. And then also the end of an era.
Okay.
Old Roy the Boy has retired officially following his health scare at Crystal Palace's training. The word is he was probably going to be sacked anyway or work out a mutual consent statement regardless. With the illness, obviously, things got a bit rushed and convoluted and everything else. So, I mean, it's a man whose managerial career started before I was fucking born.
Mm-hmm.
He is a staple in English football, in a lot of other countries as well. One of the most traveled English managers in the game. Coached in Italy, I believe he coached in Spain, definitely in Scandinavia, and a few different Scandinavian countries as well, Sweden, Denmark, and is revered pretty much everywhere that he went. And very sad that it ended in this way. It's could be viewed as a bit of an undignified manner in which it ended, but it did end, and it is quite sad, and I feel bad for the guy. And he needs to be celebrated and talked about. A lot like how Wenger left, and everybody was kind of like Wenger out, like we fucking need to move on. When he finally announced it, we got a chance to celebrate him.
Right.
I think it's finally, after the last 6 weeks, it's time to celebrate Roy.
Very good. Yeah, I agree.
How toxic it's been at that club. It's time to celebrate Roy and the things he did, because Palace were in a bad way when he came the first time, and they were in a very bad way when they rehired him. And he did turn that around for the most part.
Yep, agreed.
And he's almost now, at least in English football terms, synonymous with Palace,
Agreed.
in my mind.
Yeah.
So that's something that needs to be talked about. And then Joe Hart,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
retired. Last 4 or 5 years, been a bit of a meme, obviously, with some of his England performances from back in the day. But is a guy that could have gone to a Burnley, he went to Spurs, but could have gone to a Burnley, to a Leicester, to a somebody, and been a number 2 and just kind of wasted away and collected his check and moved on. But he didn't. He wanted a challenge. He went to Spurs to try to win that starting job. Didn't. Was, by all accounts, a consummate professional in training and everything else that he did. And then decided, you know what, I'm not happy with this. Goes to Scotland, fights for his place in Celtic's team, becomes Celtic's number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Wins 5 fucking trophies with Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of you will say that's not difficult in Scotland, but when Rangers are afoot, it is.
Right.
It's one of the two of you, but it could be both trophies are the other one.
Right.
Very
Yeah,
easily.
exactly.
And you finish trophyless. He didn't.
Yeah.
And he's been an integral part of that Celtic team that has won those trophies. And fucking well done to him for not sitting down and taking it away. But he announced his retirement this week as well. So what I thought is, since we're celebrating all of these 3 things, we would do something that is all the craze right now. Something that just got released in this past week across the country.
Oh, I'm hoping. Yeah, it is.
Some Crown Royal Blackberry. Let's take a quick shot.
Excellent. Let's definitely do a shot of that. I'm excited to try it.
Chats are ringing in. Greg Sideburns, he says, Uncle Roy's a legend, took us to a European final. Sure, Billy, thank you, Roy, for your service to all the clubs you played and coached.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth. Remember, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Jose Mourinho famously said just the last time that he was with Crystal Palace and Jose was with Spurs, he said, he's our boss. He's our boss.
He's everyone's boss.
Yeah. He's our boss. We don't talk shit about Roy because Roy's the fucking man.
Sure, Billy also says the French suck.
All right. Cheers, kids.
Which, my tattoo's in French.
Cheers, kids. I'm excited to try this
I
one.
so am I. This is the most gimmicky thing that I'm excited to give a go.
They tend to do flavors well.
It does.
though.
It smells fucking delicious, doesn't it?
Doesn't smell medicinal.
Oh,
What's good?
Come on.
it's still got enough
Oh, that's
heat,
good.
so you take it seriously. It's not overly sweet.
Yeah.
I love it.
It
It's
does
really good.
resemble high-end NyQuil.
It's a little medicinal, but not terribly medicinal.
Hence
I
why
love
I
it.
said high-end,
Yeah.
top shelf. This is not the stuff they serve at
It's,
CVS.
it's less medicinal than Buckfast, and I love Buckfast.
Grandma, I want that bottle in your freezer. I think that needs to get ice fucking cold.
you know what else I put in my freezer the
What's
other
that?
day?
Uh,
Bottle
sure.
of Jaeger.
Shortboilie says,
there we go.
oh, look, a bottle of bad decisions.
Oh, yeah, definitely bad decisions.
Well,
but
excuse me. I like to think they're good decisions.
I tell you what, man, there's, obviously Fireball's the industry leader as far as a cinnamon schnapps goes, but I would say Jack Fire is better. For honey, Jack is hands down the best of the honeys.
Well, you haven't had Tully Honey yet.
That's true. I
It's
haven't had the
fucking
Tully Honey.
good.
But-
It's brand new. You haven't had it, but it's
on the
good.
apple side of things, the hands down the best apple is absolutely Crown.
Yeah.
Absolutely Crown. So
The bag is a nice
they even did the
blackberry color.
Nice, love it.
All themed.
All right. Well, next up is the EFL show, and if you're on the live stream, by all means, hang out. We'll go ahead and continue, but we're going to take a quick break to just get some more beers and everything, and
Take
then
a piss.
after that, we're going to do injury time, where we preview the weekend's action. We talk about our adopted team, the Ibs, and everything that's going on in fantasy. Should somebody want to find injury time, Mr. Graham, how do they go about doing that?
It's patreon.com/DU Football Show, and just sign up to that $5 tier. You get all the extra content. Like we said, you get to hear the full white women story as well as some other stuff. But as Sam said, stick around so we can put a bow on the weekend.
I saw what you did there. Till next week, everybody.
Guten Nacht.
Might help.
I mean, notes are good. Houston wants to name the show "Tickle Me."
Of course he
Tickle
does.
Me,
Daddy.
Tickle Me, Daddy.
We could also do frauds. I think frauds.
Frauds in their own building. Set a standard. Come up with a punishment scale. Of course, come up with a punishment scale and Tickle Me could be the same thing.
Actually, I'm okay with frauds. Let's go frauds.
I mean, Tickle Me Daddy's fine if you want it to be that. I'm not too chuffed
I'm
about
kind
it.
of curious how that would affect the downloads because sometimes titles, get people interested
Then
or not.
fuck it. Tickle me, daddy. I wanna.
So
I
I'm
wanna
like,
see.
I'm
I wanna
like,
see.
let's just see what happens when we do Tickle Me Daddy.
Tickle me, daddy.
Second thing, and I forgot to ask you, and I think he's online still watching. Have you asked Shorebilly yet how you know him or if you know him?
No, I have
Is
not.
it awkward that I'm doing it now? Or we
No,
can
no,
move
it's
on?
fine. It's fine. Is he on?
I think he's still watching. He didn't
Okay.
sign off. Brian Gray, Graying Sideburns went good night, folks. But
Okay.
Shorebilly's last comment was podcast. And before that, Buckfast is just a domestic disturbance and an assault charge in a bottle.
Yeah.
That's Kentucky Gentleman, man.
So I'll know in a moment because he heard like the back call of his name and now he's running across the room to try to type on a keyboard. Or he's already passed out from bad decisions. We got a couple people watching. Maybe one of them's him.
Okay. Very good.
Drop a comment and let us know how you met us.
Well, no.
No. It's even deeper than that. That's why
We-
we're wondering if he's watching.
Yeah, we're gonna ask him a question, see if this might be how we, because the name Shorebilly is familiar to me in another context, in another world, and he's wondering where he knows me, and it might also be that other world.
Was he wondering that?
Because he thought he knew me from something else.
It's got to be it.
I'm wondering if that's the
Gotta
case.
be it. Unfortunately, I don't think Shorebilly's watching. Spoiler alert: Sam Houston is a whiskey dick.
Big
I'm not
O and
recording
Dukes-
this, by the way. This is just
Okay,
on video.
That's fine. Big O and Dukes was on. Oh, this is streaming though, right?
Yeah, we're streaming, but
Okay.
not recording.
Okay, so somebody went back and watched the stream; they could see.
Yeah.
Big O and Dukes were at WJFK early on, and they were interns. Like Chad Dukes was an intern for the Junkies, and Oscar was an intern as well there, and that's when they started doing their show. Well, they went to Baltimore, and they were up in Baltimore doing middle of the day with Ed Norton, who was the old police chief that
You're going
got
way back.
arrested. That also was on The Wire. Was one of the detectives on The Wire.
I thought he was the chief on The Wire.
No. That's
Because the chief was an actual
no,
chief.
No, the those two guys, the sergeant and the chief, those weren't chiefs. It was the police chief was Norton, and he was just a detective.
Okay.
He only had a few lines in it, but he was a detective.
I gotcha.
The head sergeant, Delaney, I think that's his last name. Big heavyset guy, the one who would always like read the porno mags and stuff. Crystal Palace supporter.
Oh, really?
And
Nice.
if you tweet him stuff about Palace, he responds.
back?
He
Nice.
responds, absolutely.
Get him on the show.
So, well, it was Brad who told me about that too. So,
All right.
So
Well, Brad, you're out. Sorry. We're getting a famous actor.
So they were in Baltimore. Shorebilly's in Baltimore. They had an ancillary character, like I was an ancillary character, as
Like how
Whiskey,
Pat's a character.
known as Whiskey Dick, right? Was who I was known as, and there was a Hellbilly and there was a Shorebilly, and I'm wondering if it's the same Shorebilly.
Huh.
If that's
Interesting.
where.
I mean, his handle is infamous Shorebilly 75, so it's got to be
so
him.
it may be we just
Cross paths.
right
In recording also.
might have been at the studio together or at a live event together, and that's like he saw me and went, "Oh, I recognize that guy. That might be where it's from." So
Interesting.
I
that's what
forgot
I will
to
ask
look and
him.
see if we have Kevin or Phil or anybody
Yeah.
of them in common.
yeah, so I'll
Fun.
have to
Well,
ask.
if Shorebilly sees us, fun fact: our very first recording board was a gift from Big O. Well, from Big O,
yeah, from Oscar,
but it was there. It was Big O and Dukes' former board.
Yeah, so yeah, it was Oscar who had hooked us up, and
I've
Oscar.
still got that in the office.
Yeah, Oscar who kind of helped point us in the right direction and get us set up and teach Mel, kind of help Mel with learning
I
the
figure
board
when
and-
this show goes, platinum, that'll be worth something.
Yeah, heard the very first.
Do shows go platinum?
I don't know. Why not?
All right, let's do
Let's
an
do the
EFL show
show.
before we go losing people. Mr. Graham, the championship this weekend was
Hella zesty. Hella zesty.
It was interesting.
very,
It got
very
a lot.
interesting.
It got fun.
It
Now
was.
it's fun.
Oh yeah, we got a title race on our hands, my friend.
Yes, we do.
And then we've got a live report from for Pompey at Charlton as well.
Yes.
It's going to be a great show.
Can't wait.
Let's get to it.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston.
Arsenal fans have another Sam. Right day, the fucking Gooner Graham. Smells of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL, a completely biased brief recap of the English Football League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me is Mr. Samuel Graham. How we doing, sir?
Good. Today is 4 months officially since I started coughing.
No, very good, very good. And of course, on the ones and twos, producer Mel. How are you, producer Mel?
I am doing well.
Excellent. You're going to keep an eye on anybody in the chats that wants to chat with us as
we
well?
got a few people still hanging around.
Love it.
But so far, good night.
Excellent. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcast, and of course, streaming live every single Monday night right here. And should you want to chat with us, there's many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Sure. It is at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch with this podcast.
Brilliant. We are drinking the exact same shit we were just drinking, so let's go ahead and get right into it,
Let's
Mr.
get right
Graham.
into it. Yep.
Championship corner.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Oh no.
We got ourselves a title race, Mr. Graham.
Yes, we do.
Because Leeds comes back from being behind in the 80th minute to score 3 unanswered to beat the Foxes at Ellen Road 3-1. It was interesting because at the start of the match, Wout Faes for Leicester scored a goal, and you were like, holy shit, he scored in the end he was supposed
For
to
the
score
right
in.
score. Yeah.
But, I mean, come on, it's Wout Faes. Give it time. He'll put it in his own net, which he did.
Did it? Yeah. Perfect. Absolutely brilliant.
But a massive, massive game for them. That now puts them only 6 points behind Leicester, and they have won both matches of the season. They beat them at the King Power, and they beat them at Ellen Road as well. I'll take that beer from you, good sir.
I mean,
Thank
that is
you.
telling Mel who's yours as well. Mel, there's yours.
You said that is telling?
All right.
That's where we're going to let you have a conversation there, Mr. Graham. This is a back and forth
I know, but
podcast. This is where we talk to one another.
last week she knocked the beer over, so I wanted to make sure she knew where the fucking beer was. And if you'll please repeat your question, because I was very focused on that.
I was just saying that the fact that Leicester had won both, Leeds had won both matches.
No, so that it can be telling, right? But what Leeds, Leicester do have going for them is when they won the Premier League title, the only team to beat them twice that season. They only lost 3 times. Was the Arsenal. So the team that ultimately finished in second, which Leeds still might.
Let's say, and that leads into your story. How, other than you just wanted to shoehorn in a pro Arsenal agenda?
What
point?
I want to shoehorn in is the similarities between the 2 seasons when a particular team won the title.
Heard. Okay. Very
That's
good.
it.
Very good.
They were beat home and away by the second place team. And right now, that's where Leicester stand.
Ipswich has leapfrogged Southampton into third place as the Saints have now lost 3 of their last 4 matches.
Yeah, so they were on probably the best run of form in Europe 23 or something unbeaten.
22 straight, and then now they have lost 3 of 4.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's a tremendous dip at like the worst time of the season.
And we'll get into it.
Because games are going to come even thicker and faster because of the FA Cup, because of all of these various things. There's going to be games in hand. There's going to be all sorts of stuff going on that does not play into the favor of Southampton.
And we'll get on to it at the end of the show, but don't look now. FA Cup, you've got fucking Liverpool.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Who just proved they can win a trophy with their fucking kids.
With children.
Right.
Those have been some of the best memes of the weekend, by the way. Showing like the mascots lining up before the players come out. It's like the team that beat fucking Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's like literal 8-year-olds.
Yeah, it was fucking brilliant. Big shakeup at the bottom of the table. Stoke now find themselves in the final drop spot, and QPR is out. Millwall, Huddersfield, Birmingham round out for 22nd to 18th place. All of them are only separated by 3 points, Sam.
So the surprising lot that are down there is Millwall. Mm-hmm. Honestly, last year they were finished in 8th or whatever it was, 10th, something like that. Mm-hmm. They were
they just missed getting into the playoffs.
But they were comfortably at the top of the mid-table, basically. To this season, just absolutely fucking struggling.
Yeah.
Huddersfield needed the touch of Neil Warnock to survive.
Right. Stoke's been in trouble this whole season. They've had issues with their coaching and everything.
Mm-hmm. I also want to just mention how absolutely ridiculous the Birmingham ownership is. Mm-hmm. Because when they fired their manager, if you remember just a few short months ago, they were in 6th and are now in the relegation zone after a 13-game or whatever, 15-game Wayne Rooney stint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's not their coach anymore. Typically, when you go to a third coach in a season, it almost always equals relegation.
Yeah, but the worst part about the entire thing is they didn't need to change it in the first place. That puts it squarely on the ownership's shoulders.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
They didn't need to change it in the first place, and they did. And that should not go without being said as many times as we can to the end of the season.
No, I agree.
Because it's absolutely fucking absurd.
Not a ton of changes in League One as for their top 6, as Pompey has the lead and still sitting at top at 7 points. But our boy Scotty, the Big Iron supporter, also loves Charlton. That's his. That's kind of his second club. And he was at the match this weekend and gave us a full match report. Mr. Graham, why don't you go ahead and share that with us?
Yes, I have that right here. I do want to quickly say, though, that previously, as just a shoehorn Arsenal in again, being our bogey team Stoke, I am happy to see them in the drops. Just not, that doesn't disappoint me at all.
Because Wenger always had a hard time with a cold, rainy Wednesday
in Stoke.
And
a long Rory Delap throw. All right, Scotty gets in touch, and here's his...
Hold on real quick. Yeah, Mel.
And in Alexandria.
Yeah, and in Alexandria.
Nice. All right, so here's what Scotty said. I'd be no good if I didn't send at least a small report for the EFL show. First time back at the Valley since March of last year. I came with the hopes of seeing Connor Coventry bring the ruckus, but he wasn't even on the bench. I actually had tickets to Ipswich Birmingham, but somehow I convinced myself, fuck that. I want to see a bookend battle in League One. As I told Sam, I'm assuming, because he didn't speak to me, I love me some addicts. That's not my boss. That's Charlton's nickname.
Is the addicts.
But clearly I hate myself, which I love. The result was only really good for Pompey and their unbelievable traveling support of 3,100 and a sold-out Jimmy Seed stand. The additional point has them 7 points above Derby and Bolton. Charlton continues to be a pain in Pompey's ass. In the pregame, I learned they had only won one of their previous 10 at the Valley. However, that streak will be of no worries for them next season. It's been a slow but steady start for Jones at the helm of Charlton. My hope is that he brought some of the magic down the southeastern line from Luton. Keep in mind, this was the guy that kept Luton in League 2, then brought them up to the championship. Unlike my EPL club, I'm definitely excited about his style of football. Annoyingly, Charlton's best chance was in minute 3. Daniel Kanu missed a wide open net and hit the fucking post. At minute 16, some guy from Pompey did a thing, hit the crossbar, and it didn't count for shit. Harry Easted made 3 brilliant saves for Charlton in the first half. The rest of the match was more or less a shootout between both sides. The Addicts took 2 short kicks off corners, which was obviously unhelpful and to the annoyance of the fans. However, Charlton made a brilliant stop in the 88th minute to split points. All in all, this was the definition of an unforgettable game. I should have bought a Tanai Watson kit because of Castore, because the Castore font looks silly, and I'm a child. Up the Addicts, I'm headed to Olympic Park to whine, drink, and complain. And whine, he means boo-hoo whining.
Right, of course.
W-H-I-N-E, and complain.
Fucking perfect.
Well fucking done, Short Billy.
Seriously.
Short Billy. Well done, Scotty.
And
The whole last 10 minutes is just imprinted on my brain, too, with him.
Everybody,
Well done,
seriously, share if you're going out and you see some lower league action.
Share any of your stories from overseas,
We
please.
want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, positively.
I don't care if you go to a game in Italy. Share your story. Like, we love hearing about Americans going abroad and getting tickets to their favorite games. I don't care if it's South America. I don't care if it's Africa. I don't care if it's fucking Australia, New Zealand. If you're seeing a game overseas, share your story with us, please.
And here's the thing to mention about that too, with us doing this EFL show. Our trip was great. We got to go to the Emirates. We went to the bridge. We got to see our teams play. It was obviously cut short because of COVID, but fucking Pompey was insane.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was great.
Frenton Park was incredible. On a Tuesday night, 3 of the 4 sides were full, and the only reason why the other one wasn't full is because the part that allowed Portsmouth fans, you couldn't drink, so nobody wanted to sit there, and only 14 Fleetwood Town supporters came down.
Yeah.
But the rest of that stadium was wall-to-wall fucking people. It was loud. It was fucking crazy. And it was a Tuesday fucking
And
night.
it was one of those old traditional English stadiums.
Yeah.
Open corners. The wind was whipping around like crazy. I mean, Jurgen Klopp would have been
he'd have been
incensed
bitching his mouth.
with it. It was phenomenal. I was freezing my fucking tits off. And then I actually didn't find, I don't remember if you remember this. I don't know if you remember this or not, rather. I went to the toilet, and I didn't catch my second wind from the cold until I went to the toilet, and I saw the Gooners Are Everywhere sticker or whatever it was over the urinal. And then I came out of the bathroom, and I said to you, go in there and look at that fucking sticker, man. And I had like a renewed sense of life.
You're like, all right, I'm back.
We're fucking everywhere, aren't we?
Back, baby.
Yeah.
Very good. So we have a new club at the top of the table of League Two, my friend. Mansfield Town have overtaken Stockport. The Stags had another big win, 5-1 over Salford. Stockport drew, and Wrexham lost to your hated rival Gillingham.
Fuck the Gills.
So, exactly.
I have no reason to hate them at all, except for a fictional podcast.
So the beauty, therefore,
I love everything about it.
Well, what's interesting about the Stags is you look at their record, and yeah, they're in double-digit wins, but they're also in double-digit draws, which is also very interesting as well.
Yeah.
And then Aki suffered a loss to Crowley Town. They now sit in 14th place. Also worth mentioning, Forest Green Rovers got a win and are finally within striking distance of safety. They're only 4 points behind Grimsby Town. So
Not terrible.
they're not like, there could be a chance they could maybe find a way to survive.
Yeah, they could. I mean, in the lower leagues, obviously, there's more teams per division, so there's more games. While we spoke earlier, obviously, about the Premier League only having, 17 games left or 12 games left or whatever, 12 games, whatever it was. They've got 3,462 games left in the lower leagues. So, to Forest Green River fans, get your fucking pine nuts in, get your pistachios down you. You need some protein. It's time for a run-in.
Heard. Have some tofu, baby. All right. Well, that is going to wrap it up, Mr. Graham. I think we actually got some extended parting words today.
We
don't
do have extended parting words because we have to talk about the FA Cup 5th round.
That is right.
So very briefly, we're going to run through today's game, which was quite unfortunate. Obviously, Coventry at home to our beloved Stone, Maidstone United, beating them 5-0. I really think it was unnecessary to add goals in the 88th and the 90+1 minute, but they did and walked out 5-0 winners against the best story of the season. Sadly, Maidstone didn't even register a shot on goal, and they only had 3 total attempts at shots. Which is a bit of a damp squib.
You knew at some point they were going to run into the wall. When
Of course.
The part that sucks
But Coventry away, they deserve the payday of City or United or Liverpool or whoever.
At this point is when you hope they pull a Premier League side.
Exactly.
Because
away from home specifically.
Right. Well, even if they get them at home, that Premier League side still does something to upgrade their stadium or their grounds. They do something for them. But yeah, this was it was unfortunate that they that it ended up being Coventry, and Coventry's been hot lately. They've been doing pretty well in the championship.
Yeah, but really, really sad to see Maidstone go out. But you know what? There's always next year, and we're going to have another story, I'm sure, that we're going to be able to talk about, and it's going to be very exciting. But we do have a couple games coming up, obviously, in this midweek. Tuesday, we have Bournemouth hosting Leicester, Blackburn hosting Newcastle, Luton hosting Man City in an all-Premier League clash there. And then Wednesday, we've got Chelsea hosting Leeds.
Let's talk Tuesday first.
Okay.
I would say.
I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't realize we were actually doing a preview.
We'll do a little preview. Why not? We got a little time to do so.
All right.
I think Luton, even though they're hosting, will not get past Man City. I think Man City will take care of them. Leicester Bournemouth is an interesting proposition because Leicester is very good, right? And when you look at the two, it's really only a separation of about 7 spots in the overall table.
Yes.
Bournemouth hasn't been playing great, but this is in Bournemouth's building, isn't it? It didn't used to be.
It is in Bournemouth.
So, you know, this could be a good game for Bournemouth to right the ship. And Leicester has also lost a few lately. And Leicester now needs to look over their shoulder and go, oh, shit, there's someone
very
there.
much so.
And then you have Blackburn and who else?
Newcastle. Blackburn hosts Newcastle.
I think Newcastle should find it. Newcastle now knows this is their way into Europe.
Their best chance to get into Europe is winning the FA Cup. Yeah.
And also,
Agreed.
Again, we've talked about this already when they made it to the League Cup semis, to the League Cup quarters, is if you're following the Manchester City plan, right, you get the big ownership, you start to buy players. In that first full season, you win something. You win a cup.
Yeah.
So this would be the key thing for Newcastle. So moving on to Wednesday then.
So Wednesday, you have that old rivalry. Chelsea are hosting Leeds.
There we go.
I fancy Leeds here.
I absolutely agree with you.
They are on the uptick, obviously, and Chelsea are so goddamn sporadic, and then have the disappointment of Sunday.
Oh, that has to be such a kick in the nuts for them on that League Cup match.
We will discuss the League Cup match on Injury Time, which you can find at patreon.com/DU Football Show. And you hear some of the shit that we don't talk about on the regular show.
Well, you'll discuss it. I didn't watch a fucking minute of it.
I'll discuss it. It's fine.
It's fine.
With myself.
No, go ahead.
Most of this is me talking to myself anyway.
Oh, heard. Thanks. I appreciate that because I offer nothing to this show. Good job, Sam. All right, keep it going.
Wolves hosting Brighton, which that's a fucking coin toss for me.
That's going to be a great game.
If you're a betting man, stay away from this one.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest are hosting Manchester United. Kind of fancy Forest.
I think Forest is going to win.
Especially because United do occupy a Europa League spot.
Yeah.
Currently.
Right.
And then Liverpool hosting Southampton.
What
worries me.
If this was 4 weeks ago, I would say Southampton could be fucking with Liverpool. But they've lost 3 of 4. And couple that with the fact that Liverpool just won a cup with a bunch of kids and Van Dijk on the pitch. Like, they just won a cup against another Premier League side with their kids, they'll put their kids right back out there. And unfortunate for Southampton, they've been having a great season, but no, I put it on. I'd say it's going to be Liverpool.
I would tend to agree with you that Liverpool do win this game.
Yeah. If this was a few weeks ago, I totally would give Southampton a chance. I would completely give them a chance.
There's also some reports that I saw that Mo Salah probably could have played in the League Cup final, but he wanted to protect him. Klopp did. And because of their Premier League run-in, they want to win the league, obviously, in his final season. And rightly so. It's not a criticism.
Yeah.
But
the FA Cup is the third thing you're worrying about. The League Cup was the fourth thing you're worrying about.
Yeah.
It is Europa title or it is the fucking Premier League, and that's what they care about.
The Liverpool, despite Klopp's announcement, what the last 3 or 4 weeks have showed us is that, or I'm sorry, in spite of Klopp's announcement, Liverpool are in a very healthy place.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids slotted right into this game.
Yep.
Right? And again, on injury time, I'll actually dive into that a little bit, but they didn't really miss a beat, to be honest. I mean, they were a little inconsistent with some of their patterns of play, but other than that, man, I mean, they still looked good and prepared and ready for it. So I don't know that Southampton's going to have the wherewithal to deal with this.
Yeah, agreed.
So, but that's how your FA Cup looks for the week. Obviously, next week we will cover the recap of that.
Live stream, thank you so much for joining us.
Really appreciate you guys.
Yep, thank you for hanging out.
And thanks for interacting, man. We love to get to your questions and your comments when we can.
Absolutely.
Obviously, when time allows and Mel's not farming on her phone.
Yeah. But she doesn't play that damn game anymore.
It's a joke, dude.
I know
it doesn't matter. No one cares. They know that she actually produces stuff. That's why it's funny.
Oh.
I've got him fooled.
If
she hid that app in her finance folder.
If I can make
calculator.
If I can make the mute button joke go away, Graham can make the farm game go away.
If you know, you know.
Everybody, for those of you who are Patreon, next up is Injury Time, where we talk about the beers that we've been drinking. We talk a little bit about fantasy. We're going to recap the League Cup final, or at least Graham is, because I didn't watch a fucking minute of it.
I will.
And we're going to preview the weekend's action. If somebody wants to find Injury Time, Sam, how they go about doing it?
I'll be a whore one last time for you, sir. It is patreon.com/Steve Football Show. It's one $5 tier, that we need to sign up to get all of our extra content. And that's all you got to do. Very simple. Just show up in your podcast feed on your favorite app, I believe, in it.
Yep. Perfect, everybody.
Come on.
Till next week.
Can't be any simpler than that. Good night.